What is the pulse of LSU recruiting after the flip of Bryce Underwood? I got LSU insider Shea Dixon from the Bengal Tiger on this video. We're going to find out, is there more pain to come, or is Brian Kelly and his staff, have they stabilized things heading into next week's early signing period? LSU fans, do me a favor right now. Smash that subscribe button. All right, let's bring in Shea Dixon from the Bengal Tiger. Shea, we're about 5 days since the big flip. I mean, in recruiting days, it feels like a month. How are LSU fans handling the news?
LSU fans, as I've said, it's tough, right? I mean, look, Bryce was set up to be not, I don't want to say generational and put too much pressure on him, but a program changer, right? Like someone who's going to come in, start for you a number of years, go on, be a first-round draft pick, and he stuck with them for 300-plus days and wasn't visiting Michigan, all that, and then comes to find out after that public news of a month out, kind of like them matching the offer, then going up, and then all of a sudden we find out, well, they've offered him double and it's a record-setting deal. And meanwhile, Tom Brady and everybody else is kind of courting him in the background, and he had Josh? Immediately the next day, putting out trading cards with the collective and all that. And it was just kind of like, whoa, LSU, like they don't have the endowment Michigan does. Michigan wasn't playing the NIL game a year ago. Michigan fans were upset about it. And now within a month, we see them saying, hey, look, we've got some boosters who are giving money. The collective's taken off and they're flipping guys. And Josh, you can help me remind LSU fans who might be listening. It's not Underwood hurts. It stings, all of that. They went through 5 for 5. They went through a number of recruitments that felt terrible in the moment. And then later it turns out that it didn't kill the program. And they won a national championship since then again. But that right now, this isn't an LSU only thing. In these final weeks, a lot of Bama, Ohio State, we're seeing teams that are in the top 5, just like LSU, getting commitments flipped. And is it Bryce Underwood? No, but it's been 5 stars like Caleb Cunningham. It's been a number of top 100.
David Sanders is on the road taking a last-minute visit. The number 1 offensive tackle in America, locked into Tennessee since the summer. All of a sudden, a week before signing day, he's in Columbus.
Ohio State just had a decommitment right before we got on here that looks like could end up at Colorado.
London Merritt.
This, Josh, just tell LSU, I'm trying to tell LSU fans, it's not just them. Go read other boards. All the good schools right now are having to hold on because the teams that have deep pockets and may not have their class put together yet are coming in at the end here and doubling and sometimes tripling what an NIL package is.
Yeah. So if we go back to last Thursday, I know we don't want to go there, but let's go there. Last Thursday, it was emotional, and it felt like things were unraveling with the Tigers recruiting class. There was rumors about Derek Meadows. It was just all over the place for about 24, 48 hours. But then on Saturday, you made a really interesting note in an article on the Bengal Tiger that, although there was all this hubbub and rumors and everything going on around the program, no other commits made visits elsewhere last weekend. So there was a time where it looked like the Tigers class was going to be picked apart, but maybe not so fast. What's been the response from recruits?
That was big that nobody was on anyone else's campus. And now you move into this week. Look, kids are off for Thanksgiving. So there's a lot of quiet visits happening out there beyond LSU, lots of teams. But LSU, Josh, was on a 4-game skid or 3-game losing streak. They just lost Underwood. They were in the national news for all the wrong reasons. You beat Vandy, and which was a talented Vandy team this year, and then you didn't have anyone else decommit. No one else went and visited elsewhere. And in fact, more than half the class, I've got about 75 or 80% of them so far on record as saying that they're signing with LSU next Wednesday. So right now they've held on well, but they've got another week to go, Josh, and we know there's a couple 5 stars still in LSU's class, both at corner. One has said, I'm firm. That was a push from Texas, Cade Phillips. Mm-hmm. The other's DJ Pickett and still committed to LSU. He will be here this weekend, but that doesn't mean LSU's resting easy there. They are going to have to fight to the end.
Yeah, well, if he shows up on campus this weekend, that would be huge for the Tigers. Now, let's talk about some potential additions of a 5-star. 5-star interior offensive lineman Solomon Thomas. He's committed to Florida State, but we know that Florida State recruiting class has been falling apart. The prize pick left in there is probably Solomon Thomas at this point. Do you think LSU has a legit shot to flip him?
You know, Josh, and correct me if I'm wrong, I just thought that Solomon was always going to stick with FSU, and Atkins getting fired clearly opened the door for him to at least look around. He visited Florida, then LSU.
Mm-hmm.
From the gauge I get, I would probably say if he flips that maybe right this second that Florida might have the edge on LSU. It's closer to home. He was just there 2 weeks ago, but we've seen LSU pull off flips late with O-linemen in back-to-back-to-back cycles. Ever since Brian Kelly's been here, they have flipped an O-lineman late in each cycle, including a 5-star a year ago from A&M and Weston Davis. So they've been recruiting Solomon a long time. He's been to campus like 5 or 6 times. But the reality is it's a week to signing day. Is it enough? I still don't rule out that he might stick with FSU. I just think the firings, especially with Adkins, shook things up. And maybe here we do see a Florida LSU battle down the stretch. But I'm not getting LSU fans' hopes up there. If it happens, great. If not, trust me, the focus is on holding on to the class they have, which is a top 5 class on 3, and then seeing what happens with Stewart, but really attacking the portal. And that's what can set them up for next year. Because, Josh, there's a bigger picture discussion here. LSU went 10 wins for Brian Kelly's first 2 years. The cap this year is going to be 9, right? They can beat OU, go to a bowl game. You can win 9-10 games, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So this would be the worst finish yet. They need to field a team with better talent. Recruiting a great class helps, but actually attacking the portal with guys who are impact players is what LSU's about to do. And it was funny, Josh, yesterday, Brian Kelly's entire press conference almost coming off a win over Vandy going into OU was like a public message about we're trying to hold on to our class and we're about to attack the portal in a way that he has not wanted to attack it or planned to attack it in prior years, which tells me, and he came out and said it, they need a talent infusion on roster. And whether it's recruiting and the portal, they're going to go after both of it.
All right, well, let's wrap it up by talking about that 5-star defensive lineman right there in the state of Louisiana, Jakeem Stewart. He reclassified. There's been so many twists and turns in his recruitment, but this thing is almost over. How do you see it shaking out?
Man, I don't know, Mike. Your guess is as good as anyone's. I mean, early on, I always thought he would end up at LSU. I didn't. Whenever he reclassed, and then we got into this NIL era where Oregon's hosting him. Michigan reoffers here. He's been at USC, which evidently made a major splash. Ohio State's always been in the mix here. And then there's LSU. I think that LSU is doing all they can, Josh, to get him. At the same time, if the numbers, let's just talk NIL here, if there's a number you can't turn down and LSU fans say, well, you got to match it, you got to go above, you have to understand that and we could talk for 2 hours on a podcast about this, but every team out there is having to prep for rev share, is having to prep for how much they actually have to spend on the roster now, to spend in the portal, to do all this. And at a certain point, you just can't keep going. And you're going up against teams like Michigan who can double an offer at $12 million. Well, what's to say, what does it do for your program, Josh, if you match that $12 million? Everybody else on the roster sees it. Every recruit sees it. Every transfer portal kid sees it and says, well, do we get that? LSU doesn't have the funding in their collective that Michigan does. And even had they done that, Michigan probably would have just kept going up. So I think we're in a spot here where LSU knows, hey, look, lock in on our guys. Tell them these are the offers. If we go up a little bit more, we do. And that's how they locked in Cade Phillips. Like they're locking in guys doing that. But that's not to say that we couldn't see another guy or two here in the end head elsewhere, including a Jakeem Stewart, just because he may feel it fits better or it's just an offer he can't turn down. Either way. And that's the world we're living in right now.
That's it. LSU fans, tell us what you think.
I don't know. Make a prediction, Josh. Do you know where he's going?
No, I'm not going to do that.
No, see?
No. If I had to predict right now, we're 7-8 days out from signing day right now.
Let's play this game.
I would probably,
if it's not LSU, who would it be?
USC probably right now. Just
How crazy is that? Because you would not have said that a week ago.
Yeah, and it's almost like I think it's USC right now, but like, what do I think it's going to be in 7 days?
Correct. I don't know. Be a fun time to watch.
LSU fans, tell us we're wrong. Comment section below. Explain why Jakeem Stewart's coming to LSU. Let us know.
Tell us we're wrong, guys.